Welcome to Betrayal Stories. In today's video, hey everyone, get settled, because what you're about to hear isn't just a story you listen to. It's one you slowly fall into. The kind that starts quietly, almost harmlessly, and then pulls you deeper with every passing moment. This is one of those hidden family situations that began with innocent routines and slowly transformed everything in ways I never imagined. Before I continue, take a second to hit like and subscribe. It truly helps more than you realize. And if stories like this keep you watching until the very end, then I want you here for every single one of them. Also, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. A quiet town where nights stretch endlessly. Or a city where the lights never really go out. My name is Sophie, and I was in my early 20s when all of this began. I've always been told I had a mysterious look. Long, wavy auburn hair, deep hazel eyes, the kind my mom said made it hard to tell what I was thinking. But behind that appearance was a childhood shaped by absence. My father left when I was barely 5 years old. I don't remember the argument. I don't remember the exact moment he walked out. I just remember the space he left behind, and how quiet the house felt afterward. From that point on, it was just my mom and me. She worked double shifts at the hospital, coming home exhausted but never distant. She still showed up for school plays, stayed awake for bedtime stories, and somehow made me feel like I was enough, even when life wasn't easy. We weren't just close. We were inseparable. Sometimes it felt less like mother and daughter and more like two people against the world. That's why everything shifted when I was 19. That's when my mom met Thomas. He wasn't dramatic or flashy. He was calm, steady, the kind of man who listened more than he spoke. He worked as an auto technician, and there was something grounding about him that my mom hadn't had in her life for a long time. Thomas had a teenage son from his previous marriage. His name was Liam. After only 6 months of dating, my mom and Thomas got married. Suddenly, my entire world changed. We became a blended family, living together in a modest 3-bedroom house on the outskirts of Portland. I told myself it would be fine. Families adapt. People adjust. But nothing prepares you for sharing your space with people who are suddenly supposed to feel like family. Liam was tall for his age, with dark curly hair like his father's and sharp gray eyes that seemed to observe everything quietly. He was reserved, more comfortable with sketchbooks and mountain biking than conversation. I was the opposite. I had just started community college studying illustration, full of restless energy and creative ambition. My room was covered in vintage movie posters and stacks of sketch pads. We lived in the same house but in completely different worlds. Family dinners were polite, distant, simple exchanges. No real connection. Meanwhile, my mom and Thomas were blissfully happy. They laughed together, cooked meals side by side, and turned Sunday dinners into a tradition. They believed everything was working perfectly. But something subtle began to change late at night. Liam and I would run into each other in the kitchen. At first, it was small talk, then longer conversations, then shared laughter. I started noticing things: how he helped his dad fix things without being asked, how he left small charcoal sketches on the refrigerator, quick drawings that revealed a creative side he rarely talked about, how his silence wasn't emptiness, but thoughtfulness. Even though we weren't related by blood, the word step-sibling hovered over everything. It defined how we were supposed to feel. But emotions don't always follow rules. By the time I was 23 and Liam was 21, we had found an easy rhythm. I was finishing my degree and working part-time at a bookstore. He enrolled in a design program and slowly began opening up. Sometimes we watched movies together when our parents went out, sharing popcorn, laughing at the same scenes. My mom and Thomas loved it. They told everyone how happy they were that we were becoming real siblings. I smiled every time they said that, but inside it felt wrong, because siblings don't make your heart race when they smile. Siblings don't linger in your thoughts at night. Siblings don't leave you wondering why they don't see you. It's the way you see them. Then came the night everything changed. It was a Friday. I went out with friends to a bar in the Pearl District. Music vibrated through the room, lights blurred, and a couple of drinks softened my guard. I wasn't drunk, just open, vulnerable. Around 1 a.m., I came home. The house was dark and quiet, except for a faint glow coming from Liam's room. My mom and Thomas were already asleep. Loneliness hit me hard. Inside my room, I changed into an old cotton robe, barely tying it. My thoughts were spinning, my emotions louder than my reason. Liam's door was slightly open. Before I could stop myself, I knocked softly. "Yeah." He whispered. "Are you awake?" I asked. "Yeah, come in." I stepped inside. His room felt different at night. Posters on the walls, sketches scattered across his desk, a soft lamp casting shadows that made everything feel unreal. We talked quietly about my night, about his drawings, about things we'd never said before. I sat on the edge of the bed. The space between us slowly disappeared. When I asked if I could lie down, he hesitated but made room. That hesitation said everything. I slipped under the covers beside him, heart racing, the weight of every boundary pressing down at once. "Sophie," he whispered. "I don't want to be alone tonight," I said. "Is that okay?" Time stretched. Finally, he wrapped his arm around me, careful, unsure, but real. We lay there talking in hushed voices, sharing fears and memories, knowing something irreversible was happening. When morning came, reality rushed back. I slipped back to my room, heart pounding. Nothing would ever be the same. The house didn't explode with arguments, it collapsed into silence. My mom avoided my eyes. Thomas avoided both of us. Meals were eaten separately. Doors stayed closed. Therapy followed. The first session was brutal. Tears, anger, pain. Laid bare, my mom spoke about betrayal. Thomas struggled to accept what had happened. Liam and I told the truth, how it grew slowly, how we tried to ignore it, how it became real anyway. There was no easy answer, only boundaries. Liam moved into a dorm. The house felt empty. Months passed. Adjustments were painful. Conversations were hard, but we didn't let go. We met quietly. Coffee shops, parks, places where we could breathe. The turning point came when my mom found me, crying one night, and held me the way she used to when I was little. I told her everything about my loneliness, about how Liam filled a space I didn't know existed. She told me her fears too, for the first time. We understood each other. Thomas took longer, but after a trip with Liam, he finally admitted he could see how real our feelings were even if he didn't like them. Slowly, the tension softened. Nothing returned to how it was before, but something honest replaced it. Today, when I look back, I don't see only mistakes. I see growth, forgiveness, strength. That's why I'm sharing this story, because sometimes the most painful moments shape us into stronger versions of ourselves. If you made it this far, thank you for staying with me. Your support means everything. And if this story touched you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below, because your voices remind me that none of us are ever truly alone. Some memories never fade. They simply change shape as we grow.